Does the movie Abigail manage to suck up all our attention, or is it a frightful mess that we should skip out on? Everyone, welcome to Cinema, where we focus on a film. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Abigail. Was it good, bad, and did it offer all of the things that you wanted from it as a whole? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already to join in this film culture community where we talk about the love for cinema each and every day. And going right into the synopsis, a group of would-be criminals kidnap a girl that are sent on a mission to be able to sustain her within this mansion for 24 hours in order to get $50 million each. But as the night goes on and unanswered questions begin to rise, the group of kidnappers begin to realize they didn't get some ordinary ballerina. And starting off with the positives, I first gotta share my experience with this film was really excellent. Just the way they go about this vampire madness, to which I wasn't as much paying attention to when certain teasers or trailers came up in some of my advertisements. I don't often go out to see the trailers anymore, and I don't recall seeing the trailers at my movie theater of all the movies I saw prior to it. And just going into it, it was a surprise just what they do with this vampire, with Abigail, because it almost appears more as a creature than a vampire, but it works wonders to becoming more original, and the build up to that reveal was suspenseful, and I got in the suspense of the mystery who this girl was, because I wasn't aware to begin with she was meant to be a vampire based on all the trailers and stuff that I avoided. And just going into it, it was just a thing that I didn't know how it was building up. I knew it was a horror film, and the horrors worked wonders once you got to those momentum, and the way you're getting all these band of criminals that just have these different personalities. You don't necessarily get to know them, and you understand why they're meant to hide things from each other, as you're not necessarily building up something where they're supposed to know each other, because they're, according to their mission, they're only knowing each other for 24 hours. They don't want to know too much about their names, so they make up names or their professions, where they came from, and whatnot. But of course, those things sort of come up as things go along, as the night comes along, as you discover more things about each of the characters, as well as Abigail, who she is, and what they have to do is a natural progression that is intricate and well woven to what I can really feast on, with the gore that is very gory throughout the film that I can really dig. It reminds me last year of Evil Dead Rise, which I was a big fan on just because they go all out. And that's sometimes what a horror film needs in a particular slasher such as this one, that really added to the balance and the ambience to the film, the natural cinematography that really worked wonders to what Radio Silence as a studio is starting to improve on with their stories, with their films in general. And what I just really enjoy is how they added a great cast that isn't necessarily all-star, but the cast such as Catherine Newton, Angus Cloud, and all of these other ones just do a great job with their roles, and what they have to offer is just really satisfying, really adds just enough. And the effects of how things get chopped up or how the blood gets spurted out, it's not always realistic, it's not the greatest, but it still adds a lot that I can enjoy just as a feast of an action film of its sorts. Just how they have the build-up of what they're wondering who this girl is, but not wanting to know too much. But as things become, certain things happen that leads them to figure out different things, or all of the way that they become more and more suspenseful. I had the momentum that has the great build-up that was a huge surprise for me. The reveal and the look of the creature, how they're building up throughout and to the end, kept me on the edge of my seat. It had so many different surprises and a couple twists that were not huge but enough to really keep me engaged, as well as the action as a whole. And going into some of the mixed elements, whether you will like this or not, there is, like I mentioned, a lot of gore, a lot of blood that could turn some people away if you're not into that sort of thing. If you're liking more supernatural horror or something that's more toned down, then this may be too much, and there's a bit much of cursing if it deters that from you when going into the film. I'm just letting you be aware of how that progresses. And while I personally don't have any strong negatives about the film enough to make a segment on this video, it's just a good film as a whole that does have its contrivances here and there. It might have some typical things that you're familiar with from other vampire films or horror films in general, and there may be flaws in some of the writing here and there, but as a whole, it was just a fun time that really didn't bother me too much when small little nitpicks I could have about the film were inserted in, to where some people just will not work with what this film is going for, how much it has to offer with its gore, or just how it progresses its story in general. But overall, I just really enjoyed the feast of the film that this was. Much more gory and exciting than I expected, with a big surprise, especially with my experience being someone that didn't even know she was meant to be a vampire, that there is a vampire in it. So that's just my personal review on Abigail, which gives it a rating out of 9 out of 10. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of Abigail. Was it good, or did you just not connect with it? What you think of vampire slashers in general, and if there's any you want to suggest for me to check out as well. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.